All around us are parents who genuinely believe criticism is a love language. They are walking beside us in the streets, and we can feel their gaze. Correction, to them, is a devotion. Pointing out what you did wrong is their way of saying, I care a lot about your future, to let you believe you're fine as you are. This is sweet in theory, and catastrophic in practice. This is the parent who could find the one crack in a flawless glass. You cook them dinner, and they mention, gently but pointedly, that the chicken was a little dry. You get a promotion, and somehow the conversation drifts to your cousin who makes more money. The nice things evaporate, and the criticism calcifies into bedrock. You could fill a stadium with your accomplishments, and it wouldn't outweigh a single unwashed dish left in the sink in 2003. This pattern started with your parent, long before you arrived. Some of them are perfectionists, who couldn't stand to see their own reflection walking around making mistakes in public. Some of them are anxious, and criticism became their way of trying to control an uncontrollable world. If they could just correct you enough, surely nothing bad would ever happen to you. It's a terrible strategy, but they think it's good for you. Here's the magic trick, and it really is a trick, cruel as it is elegant. Surviving an overly critical childhood means internalizing the critic. They move in. They get their own room, unlike your actual parent, who might eventually mellow with age or distance. This internal version has excellent attendance. It never takes a holiday. You know this voice. It's the one that, the second you finish a project, skips right past that went well and lands directly on you could do better. It's the one that rereads your text message 4 times before sending, hunting for a tone that might be misread as rude, needy, or, worst of all, too much. It's the one that, when someone compliments you, quietly informs you that they're just being nice, or they don't know the real you, or they'll figure it out eventually. This voice is exhausting, and it borrowed its whole script from someone who insisted their nitpicking was help. Real feedback tells you something specific and lets you go live your life. Your inner critic wants you standing in the doorway, waiting for approval that was never really designed to arrive, because if you became perfect, it would put it out of a job. You've probably noticed you're good at things, suspiciously good, some might say, in that why do you work like you're being chased kind of way. Children of critical parents often turn into wildly competent adults. The ones who triple check the email before sending, who over-prepare for meetings nobody else prepared for, who can sense a typo from across the room like a bloodhound. When love felt conditional on performance, performance became the whole strategy. And if you do slow down, if you dare to rest, to submit something imperfect, to let a typo slide, some part of you braces for impact. Nobody in the room is actually going to say anything, but a much younger part of you is still listening for the sound of a chair scraping back and someone clearing their throat before they just want to point something out real quick. Here's a small specific act of self-sabotage worth naming. Someone tells you that you did a great job and you deflect it so fast it practically ricochets off you and hits the wall. Oh, it was nothing. I got lucky. Anyone could have done it. You can't take a compliment. If you were raised by someone whose praise came rarely and whose criticism came constantly, praise starts to feel unfamiliar, almost suspicious, like a stranger being unusually kind to you on the street. Some deep, old part of you doesn't trust it, because trusting it means lowering your guard, and lowering your guard is precisely the moment the correction used to arrive. So you deflect the good stuff before it can be taken away, or before it can be followed by a but. I'm skipping the gratitude lists to your inner critic and the cute nickname and the invitation to tea, because frankly, that voice has done enough talking. What helps is smaller and less Instagrammable than that. It helps to notice, specifically, when the voice in your head sounds less like your own thoughts and more like an old recording. There's a particular tone to it. Clipped, disappointed, always finding the exception to the rule. When you catch that tone, Ask a useful question. Would you say this to someone you loved? Literally. That gap between how you treat others and how you treat yourself is evidence of where the training happened, and training can be redone. It also helps, oddly enough, to get worse at things on purpose sometimes. Permission to be mediocre worse, you know. Send the email with a typo in it and leave it. Let someone see you without the answer immediately. The goal is proving to the 8-year-old still living somewhere in your nervous system that imperfection no longer summons the storm it used to. And when someone gives you real, useful, specific feedback, let it be information rather than verdict. Information tells you what to adjust. Verdict tells you what you are. You've spent a long time treating every piece of feedback as a verdict because that's what it always was growing up. That habit can loosen. You get to decide, slowly and imperfectly, that a comment about your work is a comment about your work. The work now is retiring the parts of that system that have simply outlived their usefulness. The sentry at the door can stand down. The pre-apology for taking up space can retire too. You're allowed, at long last, to let a good thing be good, without waiting for the but. Nobody hands you a certificate for that kind of healing. There's no report card for it, no red pen, no missing 2 points to obsess over. Just you, slowly, on your own terms, learning to talk to yourself the way you always deserve to be talked to, like someone worth being gentle with, flaws, typos, dry chicken and all.